Moin moin and hello ladies and gentlemen, Donspektor here with another ear tip review, and today for you I have the Prism Wide Bore ear tips from our friends at Divinus. Divinus? I don't know how to pronounce this correctly, sorry for my English here. And we check out what this thing can or can't do. As usual, packaging, accessories, even for ear tips, this is how it comes. It just comes in a plastic bag, gives you some information at the back here. And that already brings us to the actual ear tip here. That's how it's looking. And it is offered in the sizes S, which is 11mm in total in diameters, MS 11.8, M 12.4, and L in 14. Meanwhile, it also says in the product description that ML is planned, but it hasn't been updated since this has been released, I think like almost 3/4 year ago, so not sure if ML is still coming. But yeah, with this I would still like to see an SS with like 10mm, which if you see this correctly here with this outlet diameter, might not be possible. But yeah, still for people with small ear canals like me, an SS would be still nice to see. And maybe even an XL with like 15mm for people with really big ears. But at least selection here overall is not that bad. And the kicker here, price-wise, this clocks in at $10 per pair. So it's actually pretty expensive for an ear tip, and it rivals the really good ear tips from Asla. So yeah, definitively not cheap. Then comfort and fit. And again, let me make it clear, my personal preference is because I have a small ear canal. I do not like wide outlet ear tips like this one. And this hasn't changed so far. The problem with this is usually they're just too wide at the outlet, and that means I can't insert them deep in my ear. With really short nozzles, this is absolutely fine, but the longer the nozzle gets, the more difficult it usually gets to insert it to somewhat comfortable states. And that's also why I usually don't recommend wide outlet ear tips to people if you have normal nozzles, because for shorter nozzles this is definitely a good idea, but for normal nozzles of length, let's say like 5mm or something like that, plus a few millimeters insertion through the IEM shell, it's just too wide for most people, and that's why I usually recommend normal ear tips. But assuming you're in the market for a wider outlet ear tip and you have an IEM that actually has a nozzle that is not too long, I will be honest here, I think the Prism is the best wide outlet ear tip I've had so far. It is squishy, as you can see here, it's nice and pliable. The material is not too thin, and unlike some other ear tips like the Kai Wide, which kind of collapses on itself when you use it, while this still has a squishy outlet on the top, it doesn't really collapse as bad as the Kai did or other wide outlet ear tips, or even some medium wide outlet ear tips, like the LS1 here, which I said in my review, it's super squishy, but damn, this is collapsing so fast, like you basically just look at it weird, it's collapsing. This one here has way more structure, while still not being uncomfortable to my ear. So on something like the Shure S12, really good ear tip on that, really fits me very nicely. But again, anything else that has like a longer insertion, I can wear this for, I would say, 1.5 hours, 45 minutes. Between these areas I would be like, okay, it starts to get uncomfortable there. It's not painful at all, so definitely far cry from the Asla ear tips, the normal ones, which are just too solid and not squishy enough. This one actually can be worn for extended amounts of time, and in the grand scheme of things, as I said, for like ear tips with a really wide opening, I think this is the best or most comfortable I've worn so far. And yeah, again, we tackle about this additional factors later. You just need to like liquid silicone as material. And then noise isolation here. So as you can see, material wise, this is medium thick. It's not thin, not thick, it's just exactly in the middle. And that combined with the, I would say, like non-existent thicker ring around the outlet, because yeah, this is here still pliable, it's not really thick, it's really just a wider outlet. I didn't expect this to isolate amazingly, and it also doesn't isolate amazingly. Granted, it still isolates better for like something like the Kai Wide, which was just very thin and very flimsy. This one here is a bit better overall, but still not great. But if you get it with the right IEM, I would say you can probably get this decent isolating overall. I would give it in my artificial scale from 0 here on the left, which is absolutely the most flimsy silicone ear tip, and 10 here to the right, where it's the best, nicest, most dense foam tip that fits you perfectly. This lands at about a 5. It's pretty decent, it's not great, there are better silicon tips out there, but there are also worse silicon tips out there. Next, we come to shaping sound, and this is, as you can see, super wide outlet, and subjectively, again, like subjective and objective separately here, usually this means it has quite a bit of reduced treble. I think the main reason for this is, again, front volume, and if you go too little front volume, you might reduce upper treble. If you go too much, you also might reduce upper treble. And this one, while I think it does reduce bass impact and upper treble a tad, honestly, it's way better than I expected. Some other tips like the Tungsten Kai White definitively did reduce this quite a bit more subjectively. And I think this might give you like 3 or 4 decibels at max at upper treble reduction. And yeah, this usually then goes hand in hand with also bass impact reduction. So there is some slight reduction overall, I would say, but it's really not bad at all. And objectively speaking, let's take a look at the data. And I mean, I will probably toggle between the different measurements I've done here. I mean, yeah, I've mostly put in just wide outlet ear tips in here, and you can see there is a reduction going on compared to, at least, I think I will probably keep one reference in here, like that is not too wide. So you can see it does reduce upper treble a bit according to measurements, but it's also not as much as other ear tips do that are similar wide in the outlet. And bass and mids seem to be pretty stable overall, so yeah, no change there. And that brings me to additional factors. And as I said before, this is definitively liquid silicon material. Something like the normal liquid silicon ear tip on soft ears, which was the OG of this whole thing, it is sticky. You need to like stickiness. This definitively sticks to your finger, will stick to your ear and wherever else you put it. And if you don't like this in your ear canal, this will also not be for you. Same as the normal liquid silicon ear tips or all of the other clones that you can get in the meantime on the market. That also means you need to clean this more often, because more sticky means it will collect more ear gunk and more dust. Thankfully, same as other liquid silicon ear tips, just rinse it under warm water, it's usually okay. Also, some soap should be absolutely no problem, and so far even alcohol hasn't really done anything to the ear tip, but I would always be more cautious when it comes to chemicals here. Just be a bit more soft with ear tips, usually means they last a bit longer, but it's just some good silicone, so it should also be fine with alcohol. And last but not least, yeah, on what nozzles can you mount this? Actually, there's no real exception here. I've mounted this on small nozzles that are like 5.5 millimeters in diameter, which absolutely worked fine. I've mounted this on really wide nozzles with 6.4 millimeter in diameters, also worked fine. So it is definitively nice and stretchable, and you can basically mount this on all nozzles. Again, keep in mind though, the outlet is really wide, so you want to probably use a smaller or like a shorter nozzle in general. Bringing me to the conclusion, and I'm almost doubting myself here, but I think if you want a wide outlet ear tip, this I think would be the way to go. I would personally still not buy it because it's just too wide for my ear for most nozzles, but for short nozzle, I think I will keep this in rotation. IMs that generally just are like short inserting will fit me nicely with this one, and due to it not really having any disadvantages, minus the price of 10 bucks, I think that's a bit hefty. Yeah, I would see a recommendation for this if you are in the market for wide outlet ear tips. It's a careful recommendation because it's wide outlet and you really need to like wide outlets, and again, the price is a bit high, but a careful recommendation nevertheless. I think this is, yeah, as said in the comfort chapter, I think the best wide outlet ear tip I've had here so far. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Questions, recommendations, or criticisms, please leave a comment. Donspektor out.